Special edition of PFTPM, our series of interviews with general managers continues. Joining us now, the guy who has been getting it done for the Indianapolis Colts. He's Chris Ballard. Chris, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me on, Mike.
I was going to say how many years you've been doing it. The years go by so fast. Is it 5 already?
This was my 5th draft.
My God.
I know. 5 drafts, 5 quarterbacks.
Isn't it amazing the years go by, but we don't get any older?
I judge them by quarterbacks. Every year I get a new one.
And I want to start there. God, I still remember exactly where I was when, and actually my wife and I were at a Broadway show. It was our 25th anniversary weekend. Phones must be off, and that is so hard for me to do. I turn the phone back on, and it blows up because Andrew Luck had retired. And I thought our Twitter page got hacked. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But yeah, that was 2019. And that really put you guys in a tailspin that I feel like you're still trying to recover from.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'll give Frank and the staff and the players, even with all the flux we've had at quarterback, we've found a way to stay competitive. Now, we haven't reached the ultimate goal, but, making the playoffs in 19, we fought. That was my fault. I didn't have enough good players on the roster, after the 5-2 start. And then in 20, making the playoffs with Phillip. And then this last year, having a chance at the end, and we just faltered and failed at the end to keep ourselves competitive, even though I give our coaches and our staff a lot of credit and our players.
Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback of the Titans, spoke earlier this week about how hard it was for him to get past the playoff loss to the Bengals. And I suspect that there are a lot of people in your organization that struggled to get past what happened week 18. I didn't intend to dredge it up, but you kind of got me thinking. That was a no-brainer. I don't bet. If I bet, I would have bet everything I own that you guys are going to win that game against a team that was just waiting to get the season over with and get the hell out of Jacksonville. How hard has it been to get the organization past that? And have you found a way to kind of turn it into a positive for a new beginning in 22?
I think it stung. I'm not going to lie to you. I went into a dark place too now. I think, really, I'll tell you what losing does, and especially the way it happened, it really makes you take a hard look at everything you're doing and probably make some harder decisions that you might not have made. And so really evaluating everything we're doing from top to bottom. It's a prideful group. It's a prideful organization. An owner that really wants to win and, an organization that wants to win. And we think we have a good football team. It needed some change and needed some tweaks. And we think we were able to do good work this offseason to get us moving back in the right direction.
And I didn't intend to get into this at all. We just kind of have gone there organically. I think about the alternate universe where you guys win that game and make it to the playoffs, how different the team would be right now. Carson Wentz is still on your team right now if you guys win that game, right?
I don't know. I think we would have still had I think we still would have had some hard discussions. Just the way we played down the stretch. And we knew we needed to make some improvements in that area. And look, the one thing I think Jim and I and Frank, we're all pretty good at is like when we know something's not a good fit, don't just try to justify it. Let's move forward. We all know we're going to get egg on our face. That is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's about doing the right thing for the organization. So I think even if we would have ended up in the playoffs, we would have had some hard discussions going forward.
And I like how you put that, because one of the things I've learned over the last 20 years, there's two kinds of organizations. There's the team that makes a mistake but doubles down thinking that it's going to get better. Then there's the team that is very self-aware and realizes it's not going to get better. Let's go ahead and acknowledge we need to go in a different direction. For whatever reason, no hard feelings. It's a business. We got to move forward. Yeah. But I feel like if you try to chase your losses by sticking with something that's not working, it's only going to get worse.
No, you just multiply the problem, and it doesn't do you any good. And the one thing that, like, if we can't have some hard internal discussions about who we are and where we're going and the mistakes we've made, then we got real issues. So that's the one thing I'm really proud of here is we are able to have those discussions. They're not always easy. They're not always fun. Matter of fact, it's like going to the freaking dentist sometimes when you're having to have them, but they need to be had. The only way you can get better is if you're able to successfully evaluate your own team internally. We don't let the outside world do it. We need to be able to do it internally, and you got to be able to have those honest, hard discussions.
I keep looking at your hat. What's on that? What is that?
So this is a Patagonian hat. Stand for the waters you stand in. It's just one that supports. I don't know where I found it.
It's a fly, right?
Yeah, it support the rivers, support the waters we are. Take care of the rivers and the joys we have in this country.
I got a couple of lakes down the hill from me. I'm going to interpret your sign on that hat as an indication that I need to go ahead and get my fishing license, dust off my gear, and get away from the computer on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, nice and early, right when they're biting, and go out and try to catch a few fish and then find somebody to take the fish off the hook for me.
You and me both. You and me both. I like to fish, but I only like to fish when they're biting. I don't.
I lose patience very quickly. If I'm not catching fish, I'm done. I'm out of there.
I'm with you.
You caught a big fish in Matt Ryan, and that's another one that I just can't get over. When you were trying to figure out where do we go from here, all of a sudden Matt Ryan falls out of the sky. How did that happen?
Well, I mean, a little bit of luck. We were very patient. I remember telling, Mr. Irsay and Frank in our group that, what are we in a hurry for? Let's be patient. We knew the Deshaun Watson thing was going to domino in some fashion. So why be in a hurry when we can be patient? Let's see if this thing ends up rolling our way. And so, we got the call on Matt when we knew it, when Atlanta was in the Deshaun Watson talks. And, I think Matt had identified us as a team that he would like to come to. And then when they didn't get Deshaun, we were able to still continue to have discussions and work out a deal to get him here, which I give Atlanta a lot of credit for. They didn't have to, but I think they knew Matt. I think it was good. I think the timing ended up being good for both parties. It was time for them to move on and move forward with their program, as a chance to give Matt a chance to get a fresh start somewhere and finish out his career, on a high note.
And Chris, I feel like the game's changing in that there are more teams that are willing to, however you get to that point. And it kind of came up pretty quickly between the Falcons and Matt Ryan. But once he decided he wanted a fresh start, you see more teams willing to do that with players, not just at the quarterback position. We saw a bunch of receivers get traded this offseason who just wanted to go somewhere else. Why do you think teams are moving toward accommodating players who, for whatever reason, no hard feelings, aren't happy and want to move on?
What is Mike Tomlin says it best? I always say you want volunteers. You want people that want to be here. And so when you get a player that doesn't want to be in your organization anymore, what do we? You can play hardball, which sometimes we all do, but you want volunteers. You want people to want to be here. Like the one good thing, Mike, about the NFL and just football in general, like team still wins. I mean, team still wins. I mean, look, every player is important, but them coming together and playing for each other, that still wins. And it's the great thing about our game. And I think it's what gives it such great parity in our league. The teams that figure it out, come together, they usually are the teams that end up winning.
You make a great point too about the Mike Tomlin quote, because you can say to a guy, hey, we have this piece of paper you signed and you're under contract with us for X number of years. But if you have a guy who's showing up every day and he doesn't want to be there, it's going to come out. It's going to potentially influence others. It's going to create a bad situation. It's going to be harder to come together as a team if there's a guy that doesn't want to be there. Maybe other guys start, he's got a good point. I don't want to be here either. And the next thing you know, you got a cancer that's spreading through your organization.
Yeah, having the right guys. It's hard enough. It's hard to freaking win. Like, it's hard to win one game. Like, sometimes I think people forget that. Like, just winning one game on Sunday is hard. And then to win enough to get into the playoffs and make a real push is very difficult. So everybody's got to be, paddling in the same direction and working together to get that done. And it didn't take much to get the boat off course if you don't have that happening in your building.
I'm anxious for you to get off of this veteran quarterback roller coaster and get nothing against Matt Ryan. He's just getting started. Hasn't played a game yet. But do you want to get to a point where you've got a guy that you think is going to be there for 10, 15 years?
Oh, absolutely. I do. I keep thinking, man, well, 5 different quarterbacks, 5 different years, to find the long-term answer is going to be great. But look, the one thing I do know is not everybody has one. Everybody's looking for, 3/4 of the league are looking for the same thing we're looking for. And then those guys don't come along very often. I mean, I think I said this to the media a couple of years ago. I said, you can take one in round 1 just to appease the masses, but you better take the right one, because if you don't, it's going to put your program behind. So to me, it's always the difference. Like, all right, it's easy to take one. All right, it's great, but then they got to play. And then if they don't play well and they don't have quite the talent level to stand up to that one being next to their name at quarterback, then you've set your program back. You've set it back a few years. And that's the hard, I think that's the pressures that come when you put a first round pick next to a quarterback's name. Man, they are deemed as the savior of the franchise. And you got to be right when you make that decision to do it. And I mean, and look, that the criticism in our job comes along with it when you don't take one, when you need one. But it's got to be the right one.
With Matt Ryan just getting started, there was only one quarterback taken, obviously, in round 1 this year. There were plenty of others. You had opportunities to take them. You didn't. Are you trying to engineer the right handoff so it's not awkward, so it's seamless, so Matt gets his chance, and then at the right time, we add a young guy that maybe learns from Matt, and then that guy can take over, and it's not bumpy. There isn't hard feelings. It isn't like in Tennessee, where I'm not sure Ryan Tannehill's ready to walk off into the sunset, and they've got Malik Willis. Do you want to just get it just right? So Matt Ryan knows, hey, I'm basically at the end, and I know this guy's going to sit for a year or 2, but I want to get him ready to take the baton from me.
In a perfect world, yes, we know how that position goes. You never know if it's going to be a perfect world. But yeah, you want to, and look, I wanted to be fair to Matt and to his team. I mean, we got guys that, guys we drafted. We had a great class in 18. Like, we've been building this from 18, 19, and 20. So we got players, and we've extended them. And so they're right entering that window where they think they can win and we think they can win. And so we got to give them the best chance to win. And, I wish, in a perfect world, you'd draft a guy and he'd sit behind Matt and learn. I don't care if he sat for 3 years and learned. But you never know. You never know when that opportunity is going to rise. You just got to, the biggest thing to me is making sure you're studying the quarterback position each and every year, going A to Z on every prospect that enters the draft. Even if you have one, you need to go through the process. And if that player presents itself with the opportunity to either move up or he ends up being where you're at, you need to be ready to pick him if you think he's the future.
If we would have been guessing on Friday of the draft that you were going to take a Cincinnati player that night, we would have all thought it was Desmond Ridder. Instead, you took receiver Alec Pierce. What attracted you to him? Well,
big, athletic, vertical threat, that we needed to add to our offense. And it was good because we actually went down to work out Desmond, and it was good. Desmond had a great day and is an unbelievable kid. And I think Desmond's going to be a good quarterback in this league. But the byproduct of that is we're able to see Alec Pierce work out. And we got some questions answered. Wasn't anything about talent. We didn't quite know how he was going to be as a route runner. We just hadn't seen it enough yet. So be able to watch him run and move and drop his weight. We think he's going to be a really good addition to our team.
Do you expect him to step into the starting lineup right away?
Oh, he'll have to prove it. Like any player, that's Mike. That's always the thing I love about the draft. We draft, and then everybody says, "Well, okay, they're just going to automatically." No, they're rookies. They got to, there's a natural maturation curve with all of them. They got to learn the pro game. They got to come in and earn it. The one thing you don't want to do is just stamp them. You don't want to just stamp them. They got to come in and earn their role and their spot on the team, whether that's on special teams, whether that's as a 3 or 4 receiver, whatever the role is, and then earn their way up the ladder, which we think Alex has the potential to do. But now he's got to go to work.
How do you make sense of what's going on at the receiver position currently in the NFL? You've got an abundance of rookies every year, round 1, round 2, some great players in round 2, not just round 1. Some of the best receivers in the NFL were round 2. But you've got veterans that are getting huge money. You've got veterans that are being traded from the teams that drafted them because those teams would rather take the draft picks and not pay the big money. But there's another team out there that's willing to give the draft picks and take. There's just so many different ways to get receivers. I haven't seen anything like this where, yes, you can get them in the draft, but there's still some great ones out there that people will fall all over themselves to get. What's your preference when it comes to having a receiver? I mean, you go second round on Alec Pierce. Would you rather go the route of get them on their first contract, let them grow, instead of making that huge financial investment for a veteran?
Yeah, well, that's a 2-pronged thought in my, so like we're seeing receivers every year, offensive. I mean, I think this tracks back to 7-on-7. These kids are playing 7-on-7 since they're, 7th, 8th grade, and they're developing a lot of skill at a young age. And a lot more complex probably when we were growing up, Mike, the game. I mean, what these kids know now compared to what I knew growing up, I mean, it's incredible. And Madden, like you give credit to Madden in these games that have really helped that. I mean, they know coverages. I mean, it's incredible what these young kids know now. And so you're seeing more receivers each and every year, at least this is my theory on it, just from their growing up, throwing the ball and catching the ball in 7-on-7 camps just religiously from the 8th grade up, high school, and then into college where they're throwing it every down. So the influx of wideouts, that's not stopping. As a matter of fact, that's going to continue to grow. Look, you'd always want to grow your own. And when you got a special player, like when you got a real difference maker at the position, yeah, you're good paying that guy. Like a guy that tilts the field your way on Sunday, absolutely. But it'd be nice if you could draft him and develop him, and he knows your organization. He's invested in being in your organization. And when you pay that guy, he feels, he feels a real connection, not only with the team, but also with the city. And I think you saw that here with Reggie and Marvin, who are both still just revered in the city of Indianapolis.
I'm not going to name names, but just the concept of drafting a guy, I always compare it to an unscratched lottery ticket. You draft a guy, you scratch the ticket, it's a winner, and then you trade it in for a new ticket before you get to enjoy it and benefit from it. Before you get to the second contract, you're swapping it for another ticket, and you think that's going to be another winner. That's a hell of a risk. Those winners are hard to find.
No, and it's hard. And look, your team building, every team's going to do it a little bit different. The cap and cash of what we have to spend is what it is. And then look, I mean, we're still reeling from COVID a little bit. Like we're still behind. I think we forget that sometimes that, really the cap right now should be at a higher rate than it was just from the 2-year reduction that we had to deal with. So it's put a crunch on teams on who they can pay. And then now you choose, okay, where am I putting my money? And if there's an influx in the draft where you think, okay, I can get a like part here, but I can't get this in the draft, and you choose to move on from that player, then that's what the team has to do.
One of the questions I've been asking most of the folks I've been talking to this week, schedule comes out. You get your eyes on the Colts schedule for the first time. What game do you check first?
I don't, to be quite honest with you, I don't, we know who we're playing. We usually get screwed anyways, we are every Monday, like I can almost count on every Sunday and Monday night game, we're going to be on the road. Because we have not had one since I've been here on a Sunday or Monday night. I know we'll get a Thursday one. Usually we'll get a Thursday night at home. But no, I more look at, how many weeks on the road in a row, when's the bye. I know who we're playing. So now it's just a matter of when. And, the NFL, you never know. Like I always laugh when people go, well, they've got an easy schedule. Man, there is no easy schedule in this league. They're all good. And you never know when that team that was 4-13 the year before all of a sudden becomes, a 13-4 team this year. So we just play them as we see, as it comes off. And we just look at if there's anything we need to do adjust wise in terms of, how many road games in a row, when's the bye. Those are the trends that we more look at.
One of the things Sims and I talk about all the time, and it's different for different teams, but sometimes it can be very beneficial to have some quote unquote easy games, and who knows how easy they are until you go play them. But if you've got some soft spots perceived on your schedule, you can get a couple of wins under your belt. Sometimes if there's a new coach, there's a new quarterback, there's a new something, you build some confidence and it kind of goes from there, as opposed to starting off 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, and then you're digging out of a hole all year long.
Well, look, a lot of the schedule, that's right. I mean, like who the quarterbacks you're playing, like that's a big part of it. I mean, I want to say last year I had my schedule on me, but I know we went through a stretch there. I was like, holy cow. I mean, we had a load of them. So who the quarterbacks in a row, are you getting top 5 quarterbacks, 5 weeks in a row? Boy, you better buckle up for that five-week stretch.
Well, you've got the 2016 NFL MVP now, and he has shown no signs of slowing down, and he's on a much better team than he's had around him in recent years. So I think it's going to be exciting to see what the Colts do this year. And maybe this is the year that the new quarterback every year ends. Maybe you get this one for a few years.
We get 2 years. We get 2 to 4 years. That'd be awesome. I mean, you have no idea. Like every offseason, I'm like, okay, here we go. Here we go again. Here we go.
You guys are about to have that jersey like they used to have in Cleveland, where it just has all the names of the quarterbacks down the back.
I know.
You're getting there, halfway down. So, well,
except we didn't have top 5 picks during those times. I'm proud of that.
And it's been great to see how you've got a competitive team every year. I tell people all the time, hey, you guys gave the Bills a run for their money at home in the playoffs in 2020. That wasn't that long ago, and there's still a lot of pieces on that team. So I think you guys can do some great things this year. It'll be fun to watch. Thanks as always for some of your time. Go fishing. I'm going to go fishing soon. I'll send you a picture of whatever I catch. And then I'll send you a picture of the guy who comes over to take it off the hook.
I appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.